there and taps his hands and you're just sitting there and he, sits there and rocks back and forth in the chair and a bit of another murderer or whatever he is convicted. Up to this point of a case, not in handcuffs, not in shackles, one or the other, or both, and in orange.
Everybody, exhonerate here. My name's Hella, and hello. Isn't it lovely? Isn't the lighting lovely today? And look, my hair's all fluffy. Nice. Welcome everybody to my third Bryan Kohberger stream of the week. What's going on? Am I becoming one of those streamers? Am I becoming one of those Idaho 4 streamers? That's okay. There's so much going on in this case at the moment. I'm actually just picking a lane as to what to cover on this one because there's actually a wealth of topics that I could be covering. Yet I'm only just sort of focusing on one little section of it, maybe two. Sort of, I touched on the knife sheath a bit. Actually, no. You can't touch the knife sheath because then you'll be thrown in jail. I touched on the knife sheath a little bit and I'm touching on the cell tower data, but there's so much else I could be covering because the motions in limine are all going back and forth at the moment. The other thing that's actually happening right now that a few people are covering is the jury questionnaires are happening under seal, but the jury questionnaires both sides are putting those forth at the moment. So there's tons happening in the case right now. And you'd need to be streaming all day and all night basically to cover it all. And I look out there and I see some streamers are almost. So I can't do that. But first I'm going to say hello to some people before we get into some stuff. And we'll have a guest here later on or soon. So Johnny on the spot was first. Johnny on the spot. Do you get a prize for being first? I'll have to ask the mods if Johnny gets a prize. Because I'm not in charge of that stuff. David's here. Where did I go? No, not this. I can't do this again. David, you're so dramatic. 100 Seraph coin. Look, if I had Seraph coin, it would be to the moon with Seraph coin. Seraph, I gotta tell you something about Seraph, right? I think he's struggling with mental health issues. This cat, he keeps waking me up in the middle of the night. Every half hour, scratches my head. I think he's trying to make sure I'm still alive. I don't know what it is, but he just wants my attention, I think. And then I just calm him down a bit and then he's okay and then he wakes me back up again. It's very strange. Anyone willing to bet that Hella won't be late? I'd wager 5 USD. I wasn't really late. I turned it on. I turned the intro on just as it ticked over to 0, 0 minutes left. So I don't know what you people are talking about. Taint. Yes, you're all tainted. Yeah, you guys are all wrong. And that is a classic meme now. Elvis Fields wrote that in a text. Wrong. Because he's not the brightest. Already like, no, I wasn't. Whom is the guest? Okay, so the guest, his name is Twizzlestick, living in Pullman and Washington, has attended quite a few of the hearings in Latah County, knows a lot about the cell data, and also is a bit of a troublemaker on X. So I can't wait. I can't wait. Don't take shit. I love it. Stop it, Justin. Dali and drag. Did Kohberger get set up? Find out soon. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I'm open to finding out that he's actually the one, but I really, really doubt it right now. Leighton Gay. No. Oh, stop it, darling. V is here. Hey, V. Good to see you, mate. David, thank you for the $5 super chat. If anyone else would like to contribute to my Portness fund, that would be much appreciated. 1 minute is late. On time is also late. Always be early. It's really uncool to be early. Does anyone notice that? Like the really cool streamers, they're like at least 10 minutes late generally. And then they run a intro song or something that goes for like 8 minutes. And by the time they're done, either everyone's left or there's hundreds of people waiting. Maybe I should give it a go. Maybe I'll end up with hundreds of people waiting, or maybe everyone will have left. It's a tactic, I'm sure. I'm sure it's a tactic. You shouldn't be early. You should never be early for your own stream. Never. It is so sparkly. Hey, Spicy Hot Pocket, how are you? Oh dear. Angel Ray is here. Hey, how are you? And JC, good morning, my love. Yes. I stream at least 12 hours a day. You used to? Nah, you didn't. I'm thinking about streaming all day pretty soon. Guys, a little bit of a heads up, and it's not going to happen till after the Karen Reid trial, but I'm planning to run during the day, whilst I'm asleep mostly, the Zachariah Anderson trial again. So I'm going to run it so everyone can see it, people who haven't seen it before. And then after the trial, every day I'm going to do lives with special guests, including Zach's brother, Solomon, and other people, to recap the day's proceedings. So that's for the 2nd anniversary of his conviction, his wrongful conviction. So that's coming up in probably about 6 weeks' time. Don't want to do it while Karen Reid's on because, you know, when Karen Reid's on, everybody's just like Karen Reid mania. Yeah. Okay. Hey, Cole Hutton, how are you? Nice to see you. Half Irish is here, my love. Dirk Diggler. He's having night terrors about bushy eyebrows. I wouldn't be surprised if he is. For the rest of his life, he's going to be like shaving his eyebrows off. Wrong. Yeah, V knows what I'm talking about. My dog gave me a hug today when I was crying. Our animals are divine. They are. They are. Thank God every day for my animals. Audrey's here. Hello. Good to see you, Audrey. You're doing great work, Audrey, by the way. Audrey's DNA podcast, everyone should subscribe to it, by the way. If one of the mods, if you wouldn't mind getting Audrey's link up, that would be fantastic to put that in chat. JS is here. Good to see you. I'm generous. I give 1 minute after the timer hits until I go late. No, you don't, Justin. Early is absolutely worse than late. Yeah. Do we have another $5? Why, thank you. Worrying about being proper, not cool. Thank you very much, David. Love you, mate. Love you. Deebs is here. If being late is cool, Angie's the coolest person ever. I know. Angie is queen. She's queen, and nice to see you, Deeps. And Bunny Murphy is here. Welcome to the Helliverse. Thank you, Bunny Murphy, for being here. Appreciate you. Yes, it's been 2 years, Dirk. It's been 2 years. I know it's sad, isn't it? Yeah, Kern Reed. Okay, and just want to make sure I've got everyone. Forrest is here. Hey, Forrest. Good to see you, mate. Good to see you. Yeah, we don't like early in Australia because we're a bit last minute and we don't do anything too quickly around here. Plus, we're already in the future anyway. It is 9:10 a.m. on Friday. It's Friday here. Yeah. I don't know where you are in Australia, Angel. I'm in Brizzy. So you might even be an hour later than me. I'm not sure. Okay, so today, guys, Twiz was just running a bit late. I'm sure Twiz will be here shortly. But I'll get into it anyway. So, you're in Sydney? You're in Sydney. Yeah, 10:10. Yeah. Most of my students are down south, so I have to adjust for an hour. Hey, Twiz. Oh, hello. Sweet. You got your link, Twiz? Good. Sweet. Twiz is a bit of a troublemaker. I can't wait to chat to Twiz. Cool, cool. All right. So, what I want to focus on today, and Twiz can change it up, doesn't bother me. But what I want to focus on mainly is this argument that's happening between the state and the defense, because lots of arguments happening. But the main one I want to focus on, yeah, it's on Twitter, Twiz. The main one I want to focus on is this argument that's happening about the timing advance records. Now, I explained briefly, and Deeb helped explain the other day about what the timing advance records are. Basically, what they are is records that are kept with the mobile phone provider or the cell provider, like AT&T, and they show much more accurately where the cell phone was at any point in time. They show it, yeah, timing advance reports for the world, yep, Twiz rules. Twiz rules, yeah. So here's the thing. They show much more accurately where the phone was at any point in time because they report how long it takes the signal to get from the phone to the tower and back again. And they know how much time it takes for the signal to travel, right? So they have data on that, and they also have this drive test data as well. So we're talking the other day about when they actually go out physically. He's here. Okay, let's go. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good, good. I just turn up your mic a little bit. Hang on. There we go. Welcome aboard.
I just got out of the gym, so...
all pumped up and ready.
Something like that.
Yeah. Introduce yourself for people who don't know you, Twiz.
I'm Twiz. I like cell towers. That's about it, I guess. I don't know.
Twiz, you went to a lot of the hearings early on, didn't you?
I went to like the last 6 in Lata or something like that.
Yeah, right. So is Santa as much of an idiot as he looks?
Well, by the time I went, he was kind of shutting up.
Right.
But you don't really see much difference in like actually going there or seeing it on YouTube, right? So like, yeah, he's an idiot.
Yeah. Fair enough. And is Bryan actually creepy?
I don't think so.
No. Yeah. It's like they did all the whole like zooming in on his face and his eyes and things like that back when they had the pool cameras there and
Right.
trying to make out like he was some sort of psychopath by doing all the sort of looking in on the way his mouth moved and stuff. But like you saw him in person, did he look like any different to any normal kind of person, do you think?
I don't think so.
No. Yeah,
I
and
mean, it's come out recently that he's autistic, right? And like autistic people are a little weird. So, maybe he's a little weird, but that's okay.
yeah, actually, the latest thing, one of the latest things that's come out is that apparently, even though when his house was swatted and he was arrested, um, and they had all the guns and the team that were all out, the snipers and that, and he was in the back of the car, the police car. He was making conversation with the police officers, and he asked one of them if he'd like to catch up for coffee sometime.
Yeah, I saw something about that. I haven't read that document, but
Yeah.
I really think he thought that he was just gonna like get let go because he didn't do it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So like,
And
if people are making a big deal about that, like I don't care. That doesn't seem like a big deal to me.
I think it's exculpatory. Like it's not exculpatory as in like it's going to get him
Yeah,
let out. But I think it speaks to the fact that he didn't do it. Like he honestly didn't do it. He he really thought that this was nothing, and his it's being put forth as part of his ASD that he didn't understand the gravity of the situation. And yeah, it's just he didn't pick up on the cues around him that your house just got raided in the middle of the night, man, and you're in the back of a police car. Your parents and that they've all been through this situation, and yeah, this is kind of big, and you're asking one of the police officers what they studied, and yeah, maybe we catch up for coffee sometime. It's like,
they
yeah, you're
might
not
catch up
going out.
for coffee when he's out. Who knows?
That would be great. Yeah, you tend to think that he's going to be acquitted, don't you?
I think so.
Yeah. Why? What makes you think that?
I think the defense can prove that he wasn't there.
Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about today. What particular evidence do you think is going to be able to sway them? Because I've thought for a long time that okay, juries aren't the smartest generally. I've seen a lot of wrongful convictions, and it they'd need to really very clearly show he actually wasn't there. So how do you think that they're going to show it?
Definitely the cell phone
Yep.
data. But I mean, the state has to prove that he was there. I don't think that they can.
Yeah. Look, they do this thing like they say this whole totality of the evidence bullshit,
Right.
right? So,
But it all can be explained away quite easily.
if they're still awake by then. So, I don't know. I'm very cynical. You seem a little bit optimistic about it, Twiz. So, let's get into it. I want to hear from you. What the timing advance records? This is the thing that at the moment is sort of hanging in the balance. I sent you on message just before. There is a affidavit now from AT&T saying that it doesn't exist. The timing advance records just don't exist. So, what do you say to that?
So they're saying that the timing advance report doesn't exist, which might be true. But if you remember when Cy was on the stand and Ann was asking him what he would want in this case, like what data would he want from AT&T? He said call detail records, the Lokdebor file, and the regional tower list. Well, Lokdebor is AT&T's proprietary software, whatever, that like estimates the locations of the device. They, at the time, according to the FBI CASVIZ training document, they kept the Nilos data for 90 days, but Nilos was replaced by Lokdebor. So I'm going to assume that they kept that for 90 days as well.
Yes.
And depending on when Ann Taylor and Cy or whoever cell expert she had originally hooked up, they could have potentially got that when he was arrested. Timing advance reports, maybe, but it's in the Loked Bore files. So,
Okay. So, I'm going to bring it up. Deep, if you want to come on, you're welcome to chat as well. I'll ask you if you wouldn't mind to explain what is it?
Loked Bore, it's like LOCDBOR, something like that.
Because there's a couple of different technologies that these companies use, right? And that's
Yeah.
one of them. Yeah. Okay. So I've done a little bit of reading on it, and it's all very easy to find if you just like search it up. But
it is really easy to find, and it blows my mind how many people aren't even looking into it. I'm sure you've
yeah,
seen my arguments with people online about the
yes,
247 to 254 phone call. I've been
yes,
saying that for a while. People thought I was crazy. Well, guess what? It doesn't
yep.
say that there was a phone call, but it tells you that the record started at 247 and it ended at 254. So unless he turned his phone on at 247, because people are claiming that his phone was off at 254, that's not what that means, guys. Not what that means at all.
Okay, so are you saying from 247 to 254 he was on a phone call?
It's either a phone call or a rapid series of text messages, but I
Right.
think it's a phone
Okay.
call.
You think it was a phone call? Okay. And then at 254, are the state claiming that his phone was off at that point or stopped connecting to the network?
Right. It stops reporting to the network, which they're trying to say means it was off. That's not what that
Right.
means.
Yeah, but they just recently changed their tune, didn't it? Didn't they actually just start saying that it was off?
Well, they've been saying that it's off. Like Jennings said it in the suppression hearing that the phone was off. It might
Yeah.
have been off at some point in time, right? I don't know. But I'm just saying we can't know that it was off at 254 by what they're telling us. That's not what the data means.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, so there's this affidavit, right, that says this is from AT&T. AT&T maintains records made at or near the time of the occurrence of the reference matter set forth by or from information transmitted by a person with knowledge, blah blah blah. Where is it? With knowledge of these matters, and records were kept in the ordinary course of the regularly conducted business activity of AT&T. AT&T provided records for the phone number 8458 responsive to the reference search warrant dated December 23, 2023 for records between November 12 a.m. PSD to November 14. Cool. AT&T did not provide timing advance records for phone number 8458. Timing advance records were only available if requested within 7 days of the specified time frame. Timing advance records were not included in AT&T records responsive to the reference search warrant because more than 7 days had elapsed, right? So supposedly you could only get them at that point in time because then they only kept them for 7 days. Later on, so I think it was from January onwards, they kept them for 90 days. But then, from back then, in 2022, they only kept them for 7 days. That is really convenient, but how it works.
Well,
Right?
that CASPIS training doc, I think the one that we can see is from 2021, and it says the Milos file is kept for 90 days. So they should still have been able to get that.
Right, okay. So, Brett Payne having given proof upon oath this day, blah, 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 regarding evidence and probable cause. So this is the search warrant. So he asked for it. You can see somewhere in here that he asked for it, but just because he asked for it doesn't mean he got it, is what they're trying to say.
Right.
Right? There's a timing advance in here. It doesn't really matter. I can't search that because it's a photo. And Since Stephen Gordon attests under penalty of perjury, AT&T maintains records. AT&T did not provide timing advance records for that. Timing advance records were only available if requested within 7 days of the specified time frame. Well, that's just great. Okay, so that is the response to the defense's response to the state's motion to exclude this testimony, right? And if we go back regarding AT&T, before June 2023, AT&T retained timing advance records for 7 days. These records were routinely provided in response to legal demand prior to June 2023. After June 2023, AT&T started providing these records pursuant to legal demand. It was June, sorry, not January. Pursuant to legal demand, and began retaining timing records for 13 months. Well, that would have been useful, wouldn't it?
Yeah, in this case.
Okay. Yeah, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it? So does this mean that Agent Balance also can't put his phone anywhere specific?
Yeah. Unless he got the Lokdor file too. Well, I shouldn't say too. I think the defense has it, but I don't know.
Yeah, because they're called something else now. Okay. All right, hang on. I'm going to give you a link. If you're available, Deep. You two propeller heads can chat. Balance 100% has the TA records. He is just going to ignore the timing advance data. Hang on, doesn't make any sense. Oh, sorry, no, it does make sense. Okay, so you're saying that he has them, but he's going to ignore them because they're not disclosed. They're not being disclosed, so he can't use them.
That could be true.
Yeah. That makes
I don't know
sense.
how he would have gotten them though, because supposedly they didn't know Brian's name till, way past 7 days, but
Oh, that was fast, Deb. How are you?
You say and you shall receive.
Ooh.
Hey, what the fuck is a
Really?
twizzle stick, dude?
dude, that's the question.
Okay. No, okay, fine. Then I won't push the issue. If it's a mystery, we can leave it a mystery.
No, I mean, I literally just thought of it one day and thought it was funny.
It
And
is
then
funny.
I never planned to go, live on YouTube with it. So it just kind of happened that way.
Well, I do love a good avatar name, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
what I was saying was I think what he's going to do is he's going to rely on the fact that he can just say that the timing advance records are not as accurate as the CDRs, and so you can ignore them. And why are you flipping me off?
That's not true. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But it is not true. But of course, they're going to use the timing advance records when it benefits them, and then they're not going to use them when it doesn't benefit them.
Yeah, which is wild coming from the feds.
Right.
If you got the evidence the kid did it, show us the evidence. Don't pick and choose,
Okay. So I am completely a noob to all of this stuff, and I know full well that call data records are nothing compared to timing advance records, right? But you could mislead a jury to think that.
Certainly.
You can totally mislead a jury to think that.
Well, especially when you're going to have federal agent up
Yep.
there in a handsome little suit with his hair nice and tight, and he's going to blab and yap for 4 hours about cell towers.
Yes.
These people are going to want to fucking lose their shit. And then you're going to have some, Syray go up there and hopefully be able to rebut. But you have the institution of the FBI backing you in a fucking gold badge. Like, people believe in that shit.
All right.
There is some truth to that.
Let's look at the defense's objection to this, because basically the state has objected to the defense even talking about the timing advance records, right? So they have objected to there being any cross-examination about this information being left out. And the defense has come along and gone, okay, so buying through his attorney's record, Bryan Kohberger respectfully objects to the state's motion in limine to exclude reference to unproduced AT&T timing advance records. Mr. Kohberger's objection is grounded in his rights under the United States Constitution. The state's motion seeks to prevent Mr. Kohberger from confronting, through a full and fair cross-examination, a portion of the case. The state seeks Mr. Kohberger's silence on records produced by AT&T timing advance records. The state's motion informs the court TA records were not produced by AT&T Global Legal Demand Center until May of 2023. Mr. Kohberger agrees with that claim. However, that is only partial information. The state is misleading the court in its motion by what it leaves out. What the state is not saying is that the TA records existed at AT&T in November and December of 2022. The state has to know this to be true, because in April of 2024, the state produced the actual records from AT&T for cell towers and the individual TA records for 2 of the 4 deceased. And 1 for a person who had been a person of interest at the beginning of the investigation. Right, so how did they manage to do that?
Well, you kind of have to know what they mean by produce. Produce to the defense, or did AT&T produce it to the state?
Or the feds.
Or, yeah, I mean, something. We don't know exactly what they mean there, but...
Oh, this is freaking infuriating. This is bullshit. How can they produce it just for people they want to produce it for, but not for him?
Well, let's think about this. Why did they lie about what time Xana was on TikTok? There's no excuse for that. There's no reason for that. It's all bullshit. They're just creating a story as time goes on. The original timeline of the crime was 3 to 4 for a reason. Now they're trying to change it because a white car drove around the house. That kind of matches what Bryan drives.
It's just a white car.
Well, it was a white car, and his K-bar was there, and he had a mask.
and he bought the knife. He bought the knife.
Yeah.
So what's really funny about this is, like, they don't even have to ask Balance about the timing advance records, like the state. You know what I mean? Like, they don't even have to introduce them.
Okay, so all right, let's turn this around the other way. Okay, so if Hitler orders that the state's motion in limine is granted, can defense come along and go, okay, we'll just won't call it timing advance records then. We'll just call it something else.
All you really have to do is cross-examine and be like, well, how do you know how far the device is from the tower?
Yeah. Because that worked better with the jury anyway, right?
I don't know if you guys read that other part, but Anne was saying that he's just left out like 80 or 85% of the data. So he's like cherry picking it as it goes anyway.
Yes. Okay, but I'm stuck on this part, right? So how have they got the actual records for 2 of the 4 deceased and not his if it doesn't exist?
Well, so their argument is that they got it within 7 days because they knew the victims were deceased.
Oh.
They got it from like the tower dump or something. It sounds like they got, like, obviously not all from AT&T, but they got like the timing records for like 3,800 people from the tower dump.
Okay. When did they get the IgG back?
To the FBI
it was pretty early.
19,
yeah.
allegedly.
They got the tip. Like,
are you talking about Moscow?
Mm,
Like when Moscow got the tip from the FBI?
yeah, his name.
December 19th.
Yeah. December 19th. Okay, so that was a bit late. It was too late. It's not set within 7 days. Damn it. All right. Um, but Mr. Kohberger's TA records are different than other records provided in Discovery. The records are location data that are accurate in determining the location of a cell phone. TA is a term used in the cellular network industry related to the measurement of time. It measures the time it takes for a radio frequency signal to travel between a mobile device and a base station in a cellular network. TA is required in cellular networks to assign a time slot to a mobile device, allowing it to transmit data so that it doesn't interfere with other devices. Given the signal is traveling at a known speed, the speed of light, 299,792 kilometers per second, it is possible to use timing information to determine the distance of the mobile device from the base station. These measurements can be very accurate. See, this is the thing. This information can get it from being miles and miles down to that, right? No, not that, like a couple of meters.
You remember the map in the PCA about his trip from Moscow?
Yep.
Well, it's just convenient how the cell towers in Lewiston, which is one of the two ways you can leave the park, use the same towers. And this is why the timing advance matters so much in this case, because you can say he was south of Moscow based on the data they had, but if they have the timing reports, it's going to show him more in the Lewiston area, I would bet.
Okay, that brings me to that other map that you've been sharing on X, Twiz. The thing about the usage of the cell tower that also was utilized by 1122. So that got me really interested. So do you mind if I bring that up?
Do it.
Thank you.
Hey, well, you're bringing that up too. Think about this. They
Yes.
have 3,800 or 38,000 records, right? And they're timing advance records.
Mm-hmm.
They geofenced basically the timing advance records from AT&T, and through Nelos got everybody in the area or through the tower dumps, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so if he was there, they would have his timing advance records because he would have been in the area.
But his phone was off, remember? He turned his phone
Of
off.
course.
Oh, no, yeah, that is a thing criminals do.
Of
Yep.
course.
Forensic countermeasure.
Criminals do that. Of
Well,
course.
let's think about this too, right? We don't know the time of deaths for these people. So what if they actually died, at 3:30, 3:15, something like that? Their whole time frame would be off.
They can't, like, they're too smart for that. The cops are too smart for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why they got Xana's TikTok time wrong.
Yeah.
That's why they messed up Brian's little phone call from 2:47 to 2:54.
Ooh,
I hate to tell you, but all that was like an Excel sheet that said there was a phone call here, and they just picked the start of the phone call and not the end of it to say when his phone stopped reporting to the network. That's all it is. That's literally how stupid that is.
Yeah.
The record said phone call 2:47 to 2:54, and they said, 2:47.
Sherlock. All right. So it's a great point, though, Deep. Right? Like, if it's kind of like a geofence situation, right? So if the tower dump, if everything that they got in the request from what they asked for at the crime scene on that day, it was actually more than that day. It was from the 12th to the 14th. If everything was there and they asked for it and none of it had his phone, then he wasn't there, right? But of course he turned his phone off. So,
well, the funny thing is too, the defense had his Celebrate report listed on the motion for Franks, and it should show when his phone was turned off.
Yeah, it should have power off logs. They have a very, very good digital forensic mobile device expert?
Yes, they do.
The state
Well, the
or
defense.
The defense.
oh, nice.
Yeah, he's a mate of Sly Ray's. Can't
Oh,
remember
is
his
he
name.
really?
Matt knows his name. Yeah. I had invited Matt today. I haven't heard back from him. But yeah, no, Matt has spoken of him. You know, Matt on X. He has spoken of him, and apparently he's an associate of Sly's. So I would expect he probably
I'm an associate
recommended
of
him.
Twiz. I
Yeah,
interviewed
no,
him on a podcast one time.
you interviewed him. Yeah, no, you actually are Sly. So everyone, just sorry to dox you.
It's okay.
All right, so Twiz, could you please explain this map for us?
So all this map is showing is that Winco and 1122 King Road are basically in a straight line from the tower. What they can see from the tower is called an azimuth, but it's basically the angle that the signal is sent out from the tower to the device. So without the timing report, he could have been at Winco, and they're saying he was at 1122.
Wow. Okay, so yeah, you draw a direct line between the tower and Winco, and I didn't even know what a Winco was. I messaged you to find out what a damn Winco was. I was like, what's that? Apparently, yeah, it's like a general store,
Yeah, it's just a grocery store.
grocery store, right? So, and is there receipts for him buying things at this shop?
I assume so.
There's some in the state's evidence.
There's
Well,
some
they said
states evidence.
they said yesterday that they're not using it anymore. So, but I mean, I assume.
Oh,
that they
funny that.
Oh yeah, that's
Interesting. Right. And P.S. Okay, so this is the state line here, right? So he lives over there somewhere to the left.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so 1122's there, state line over here, and we've got the tower over here, and you can see that the tower, it services all this area, but there's for sure there'd be a cell tower over here somewhere that would be more likely to service like the Pullman area, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's a few towers around. I don't know like which one they actually use. Like, it's so
Yep.
weird because judging by Hitler's response to the Franks and what they're saying now, it sounds like that whole thing where they got him on camera on Stadium Way and like Nevada Street, that's not him either. It sounds like he was already south of Pullman by the time that was going on.
oh my god.
Right. So, what do you think is the significance of the line between here and here? Can you explain that?
I don't know where you're pointing.
Oh, sorry. Between the tower, the 1122, and Winco.
Like the tower or like the line that's on the map itself.
No. So, you were mentioning in the comments here that there may be some significance between the fact that there's like a direct, if you were to draw a
just wouldn't
line
be able to
between.
tell, they couldn't tell without the timing data where he was at. All they can see is basically a straight line from the tower out. So he easily could have been at Winco, and they're like, oh, he's utilizing cellular resources that provide coverage to 1122 King Road. Guess he was there stalking them.
Right. Got you. Okay.
But really, he's just like buying eggs or something, you know?
So without the timing records, let's assume they don't have the timing records. They could have looked at that and gone, "Oh, he's utilizing that tower that is servicing 1122," and they could be completely wrong. He was actually at that Winco.
Right.
What fools?
Yeah. And it seems like he's cherry picking which data he's going off of. So, like, who knows? Like, I have no idea what to think. I think they're literally just making stuff up, trying to pin this guy.
Oh, they're just making it shit up as they go along. It's been that way from the beginning.
Yeah.
Um, good find. Good find.
Like, I won't even be surprised if that's not his DNA. Have you guys heard about the scandal in Colorado? How the DNA lab worker lady was just making the DNA fit their suspects so they could get convictions.
No. Talk.
Yeah, she just got thrown in prison for it. Like, DNA is not a settled science. It's all up to interpretation from the lab workers, and they can alter stuff if they want. Like,
Colorado DNA. What? What can I search?
just type in scandal; it'll probably come up.
Okay.
But they had to go back over like 1,000 cases or something that she had worked on over years. Yeah, that lady.
No way. Did she only do cases in Colorado?
I believe so. Yeah.
Wow.
But the point is that they could do that anywhere, in any lab, with any DNA. If she can do it, they can do it.
Shit. Hey, Audrey, are you onto this? Look, I don't know about the DNA thing, right? Like, the defense has never said it's not his. So
They haven't said a lot of stuff, though. That doesn't mean
yeah, I
that they're
know.
not going to argue it, you know?
Yeah, it doesn't mean they're not going to argue it. Okay, so whilst we're talking about that, what do you think about the purchase of the nice cheese?
Prove it.
Yeah, why have they not got a receipt? I don't get it.
No, I don't. They have one for the balaclava, but not one for the knife. But somebody clicked on it on their account or something.
And what's with this replacement? Why did they hide that in the footnote about the replacement?
Because they're shady bastards. What we really
Yeah.
need to know is the date that happened, because it came out pretty fast after the crime that they were looking for a fixed bladed knife, right? So what if it came out publicly, or people, put two and two together that they're looking for a fixed bladed knife, and he was just going on Amazon looking at all of them? Like, his goal was to help save or solve crime, right? And a big murder happens 10 miles away from him. You think he's not going to look into it?
True. But yeah, I mean, I find the whole replacement knife thing really interesting, right? And the fact that they called it a replacement knife. The state called it a replacement knife. Why?
Yeah, I mean,
Why
that's
did
going to
they
be their
call it
story.
replacement?
That's going to be their
Yeah,
story.
that's clearly going to be their story, right? So why call it a replacement knife? You've got no receipt for the first one. So what's with that? This this reeks to me of storytelling, and they they need to show that he's got one in the first place. They say that they're going to bring witnesses and testimony together to prove that he bought it in the first place. Okay, great. So they're not saying for sure he even bought it. And then they go and put in the footnotes, oh, and he was looking for a replacement one. Now, apparently, the click history around that pertains to the replacement one is around the time of the murders, not definitely after the murders, but in the month around the murders. Right? So they can't say it was after. They can only say it was November, December. Right? So
They should know the date when he actually clicked on them.
You would think they'd have dates.
But if he clicked
right?
on it like 3 weeks after the crime, I'm pretty sure everyone knew they were looking for a K-bar by that point in time. I don't know.
Right?
I don't remember the dates on that, but it came out
And
fairly fast.
he's a criminology major,
Yeah.
right? My God.
K-bars K-bars are not rare. It's one of the most popular knife in America, one of the most famous knives in America. Here's a fun story. My friend purchased a K-bar in Moscow like 6 weeks before the crime from a kid.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay. So it was interesting when the supposed purchase of the knife happened, like all came out. Um, a lot of people who have been following the case and very much pro innocence took a little bit of a step back. I think like it was a bit of a shock because it's the first thing that has come out that's been kind of incriminating, I guess, for a while. Like that, so much has been under seal, and we haven't heard anything. And everything that's come out over the last 2 years has been sort of a walk back from stuff that was been in the PCA. The PCA was so damning, I guess, and then it was all just proved to be bullshit. So much of it was just such bullshit, and then the state eventually said, "Oh, the PCA is irrelevant," which was, I guess, gratifying. And then for this purchase, so-called purchase of the knife to come out, it was kind of like, ooh, okay, well they have something, but then if you really looked into it, it's like, hang on, do you actually have it? But of course, the media went and ran wild with it. Oh, that's it. He's done. He's toast. He's
they've been
toast.
doing that. Okay, you guys know the Dickies coveralls purchase, right?
Dickies coveralls purchase.
You never heard that one?
No, go on.
Well, people have been saying that he bought because Dylan saw somebody in black, so he bought Dickies coveralls at Walmart, and that was what he killed them in, because the coveralls would stop him from getting blood on him and stuff. Well, turns out that didn't happen because they're not using the Walmart surveillance footage, so we know that's bullshit.
When was that?
That was like one of the first theories because they found the Dickies receipt and the Dickies tag in his apartment or something.
Ah, okay. 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 So that was debunked a long time ago.
I mean, not officially until yesterday.
Yesterday.
Yeah, because it came
God.
out with that same document that shows like all the camera footages and stuff. It says that they're not
Yep.
using, the state isn't using his Walmart surveillance footage anymore.
Oh, God, right. When the return from the search of the home came out, right. Wow. There's so much dropping right now. It's just like I said at the start, it's just choose. It's like that. You could throw a dart at the docket at the moment and be like, okay, I could just pull this one up and go and be surprised by stuff that's in it because
Yeah.
it's been up until now. It's been like, oh wow, there's like 2 documents that have dropped, but every single day it's like just you could sit and just read them all day
Yeah.
lately and still be stuck. The best thing is all the debunking of the shit Blum was. Oh, hey, did you see? Actually, was it you that posted it, Twiz, that his book is #1 in the fiction,
Oh no,
true
I
crime
don't.
fiction.
I literally don't pay attention to anything Bloom, and unless I want to laugh. But it's bullshit. Supposedly, I'm supposed to be worried about bombs around Pullman. So, like, I really want
Why?
somebody. He said Bryan made bombs. So I'm like, are there bomb making materials just lying around Pullman somewhere? I need to worry about bombs just going off when I'm walking down the street. Like, what is this?
I he Bryan Kohberger, if he is acquitted, and God, I hope he is, that would just be the most celebratory day. Um, if he is, he needs to sue that man, especially Bloom. That man
Bloom,
needs to be
News
sued.
Nation, CNN, all of them. Go after all of
Yeah,
them.
absolutely, he really does.
Go get all the
But
text messages between Steve and all the YouTubers, all the shit that he's leaked. Like, let's go.
imagine. I mean, okay, so Twiz, you're a lot more positive about it than I am. I'm sorry. I think he's going to be convicted. I think the reason I think he's going to be
All
convicted
right.
is
Well,
I've
I'm going to
seen.
stop you right there. Everyone needs to stop worrying. The defense says that he's innocent. Cy says he can place him somewhere else. Until they can't do that, you don't have to worry about it. If he wasn't at that crime, he wasn't at the crime. You can't stab someone in a place that you're not. I'm tired of all this. Oh, what the knife purchase? Put him in the house. I don't care. I don't care if he bought a knife. I don't care if it's his DNA. Was he in the house at the time of the crime? Prove it. Let's go.
I mean, I agree, but jurors are idiots. I'm sorry.
Some of them are, for sure. Some of them are. Did you watch the Zachary Hughes trial, right? Or a little bit of it or something?
No, I think you might be confusing me with confusing it with Zachariah Anderson. I'm a big supporter of Zachariah Anderson.
Gotcha. Okay,
Yeah.
so Zachary Hughes killed a lady in her house, right? His DNA is under her fingernails. And the
Yep.
jury, or not all of the jury, but at least jurors, right? They were like, well, that DNA could have got there at another time. It's like, it isn't the end all be all. Like, you got a speck of DNA on a sheet that anyone could have walked into that house. Like, it's not good evidence. Do you think that Ann Taylor and Becca Barlow and Eliza Massoff can explain how or why his DNA might have been on a sheet in a house that he's never been in? Because I do, so I'm not worried about it.
Look, I hope they can. I've never seen them in front of a jury before. But then again, I've never seen Nye and Thompson in front of a jury before. So I don't know how any of them perform in front of a jury. All I know is this is a media spectacle, and cases that become a media spectacle tend to end in convictions generally.
What happened?
Rittenhouse and Anthony are probably the big exceptions.
Yeah. Most of the time, people that are accused actually do the crime, though. So, I mean, even Rittenhouse, they had him on video shooting people. Did he get convicted? No, because it was justified.
Yeah. And I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong. But I just don't know. I feel like I've just been burnt too many times. That's all.
I think they can make it quite clear he wasn't there that night. That's what I think. Until that changes, I literally don't care. He can't teleport. If he's not in the house, he's not stabbing anybody in the house. It's not like, this isn't rocket science.
Do I have any questions from chat for Twiz? Twiz knows a lot about this. Let's just see. Say have two witnesses that will tell a story about clicks and how it could relate to a purchase, but doesn't. S.A. Douglas and Mr. Cox. Two witnesses will tell a story about clicks and how it could relate to a purchase, but doesn't.
I hope the defense brings up the Amazon data, because I guarantee you it's tracked. How many more times K-bars were searched worldwide after it was released that they were looking for a K-bar? And I bet you Bryan wasn't the only one that looked at them. You guys did it. I did it. I didn't stab anybody. I can't speak for you, but I didn't stab anybody. I clicked on them.
How many here own a K-bar? Put a 1 in chat if you own a K-bar. I don't know how many people would. Yeah, Sleuthy's with me. Sleuthy's on team. Sorry, he's getting convicted, but we think he's innocent.
Y'all, I'll prove y'all wrong. I don't know if you were paying attention to Twitter last night, but I shit on everybody about that phone call.
Oh, you're great. I love following.
That phone call.
Guys, follow
Grok told
Twiz
me
on
I
Twitter.
was wrong. Grok told me I was wrong. Well, guess what? I don't care if Grok is your god. I'm the god killer. I'm proving everybody wrong about this. I don't give a fuck. It's going to be easy to prove he wasn't there. And then everyone's going to be like, why have we even been doing this for 2 years?
If someone could please grab Twiz's handle. It's just Twiz was right, wasn't it? Isn't it? Twiz was right. You guys need to follow Twiz. I love the way you own people on X. It's so great. I blocked all those people, but I still look at everything that they're saying.
Much fun. Like, they
because
call
I'm
me
so
a
sick
troll
of
and they're
them.
not wrong. I literally tell the truth while I'm trolling. I'm trolling you with truth, you dumb fucks.
I'm just so sick of them. They're such idiots.
Yeah.
They're just such idiots. That's all. Like, I'll play with them for a bit, but I just get so tired of them. It's just like, go away.
I think that's true with a lot of this, you know?
Yeah.
Well, the state says, I don't care what the state said. Prove it. Just because the state says something doesn't mean it's true. I love it how they're like, well, the defense said that. Well, the defense has to prove it. Okay, but you're just blindly believing what the state said. I don't blindly believe what the defense said. What the state says doesn't make sense, so I don't believe them. What the defense says makes sense, so I believe them.
Yeah. This is the thing, though. It's like the jurors in Delphi. They clearly believed in teleportation, right? Like, jurors don't need to. They don't need to understand the facts. They go on emotion. And they love the story.
That is, well, I mean, let's look at the Bryan Kohberger case as it is, right? Because like the most watched channels are usually the ones coming out with the most fantastical story. So we can watch this play out in YouTube, right? The real story of Bryan Kohberger is pretty much going to be pretty boring, in my opinion. He's going to have driven to Lewiston from Pullman, driven to Wowawai Park, driven back to Lewiston, driven back to Pullman.
That's it.
It's pretty boring.
Yeah.
Guess what I did yesterday?
You did a Bryan Kohberger yesterday?
What, stabbed people? No.
No.
No, but I did. I drove to Lewiston. I drove to the park. I drove back to Lewiston. I drove back to Pullman. It's a pretty boring drive.
Yeah. I mean, did you go stargazing?
I did not. I did it during the day, but
I would just, you know what I would love? I would love it if the defense comes forth with photos from his phone that night of stars.
I don't think they will.
Oh, damn it.
I talked to somebody a couple of days ago who actually lived a block away from the house when the murders happened, and he said it was super foggy that night, so I don't think they could see him. You never know, though. Like, one of the times I drove out to the park at night, my phone said it was completely overcast and I could see everything. So you never know.
Apparently it's a really good place to look at stars. And there was a meteor shower.
It is pitch black out there. You can see everything.
Because that's the thing, right? Why would they have even bothered to say stargazing if they didn't have some evidence of him?
Well, they didn't say he was stargazing.
Or looking at the stars. So they said something along those lines.
This is what it says. That night,
yeah,
Bryan
you got it.
Was alone driving south of Pullman, west of Moscow, to Wowawai Park, where he often goes to hike, run, look at the moon and the stars. Does not say what he did that night. It just says that's why he often goes to the park.
Yep. Fair. But yeah, I mean, wouldn't it be fucking just
it would be hilarious
awesome
if they did a lot of things. But yeah, I mean, it would. I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm just
it would be so great.
From what that kid told me, he was in Moscow that night. He said it was foggy and you couldn't see a thing. So I trust eyewitness before I trust the media stories, you know?
Yeah, sure. But it would just be like the best moment if they went and pulled out from that night, photos between 2 and 4 a.m. at Wawai Park of the stars from
Yeah.
his phone. How
Or
freaking
anything.
great would that be?
What if they just have his GPS coordinates? You know,
Perfect.
it would be amazing.
It would be so great. Or some like constellation app, like him like trying to access some constellation app. That'd be freaking great.
Yeah, I mean, there was that media shower. Heather Fitzgerald says that she has reports of people seeing the same meteor or something in the sky at the same time in like 4 different states.
Yes, there was apparently that night, yeah. And it's very good with her vague characterizations, impresses me. Many think she said all the victims' doors were open that night. Check how she worded it. Oh, yes. Very good lawyers are excellent at that, right?
Jeff
Like my
is the
friend Steve,
classic believe everything the state says, though, because he doesn't ever question how they word things.
who?
Jeff. He's the classic believe every word the state says.
This Jeff?
Yeah.
Really? I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know where you hang
But
out.
the state also like they it depends who's writing the documents, but they do some interesting wording too.
Sure.
But good lawyers, they tend to be able to write, so you have to read between the lines. My friend Steve, he's very good at that. He even writes his Twitter posts that way. It's like, hang on, you're a lawyer. I can see what you're doing.
What we don't know is what time or what Anne was referencing that information from. So how would we know? I think she's referencing it from the body cam footage of the first officer that arrived. And those girls never went upstairs, so that those doors could have been open. How would they know?
That's true. So, okay, let's talk about just if you've got a couple more minutes. Let's talk about the roommates for a sec. What do you think about this whole situation with the roommates and the texting and the 911 call? I'd like your
crazy.
take on it.
I don't even know what to think about it. It's mind blowing. Like Bethany especially, because she heard something, right? She didn't see a man in her house. She heard stuff and she was scared from what she heard. But they didn't call 911 or call for help or walk out the front door that was, 5 feet from her the entire time. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Amy Lou says, wasn't his phone turned off?
Was his phone turned off?
Even right from the very beginning, Amy Lou, no one ever said his phone was turned off. They said it wasn't connecting to the cellular network. So it's the media who's been saying that the phone was turned off.
Well, the state has said it now. Defense
They've said it now, yeah.
Said anything about it. My personal opinion, his phone could have been shut off that night, right? Like if you're going out for a late night drive by yourself, you want to turn your phone off, like that's not a crime.
Yeah, no, it's not a crime. However, it's been used before to convict people. It was used to convict Zachariah Anderson. But that's a different case.
His phone was off.
Guys, yes, so his phone was off and he went to sleep for 3 hours, and that's what murderers do. Yeah.
So he didn't have corroborating evidence that he didn't do it?
Well, you shouldn't have to have corroborating evidence that you didn't do it. That's shifting the burden. But
True.
yeah, it's true. But yeah, he was asleep an hour away, and yeah, he would have had to have been a superhuman to go and be in that place and murder that person and hide the body, which was 300 pounds, and then get rid of it and only have one tiny pinhead speck of the man's DNA in the back of his van. But hey, that's a whole different case.
Yeah, I'll have to look into that one. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
there's cases like there's a lot of innocent people that get convicted of crimes, right? But
Mm.
maybe their attorneys just sucked.
Look, they weren't perfect, but there was so much reasonable doubt. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm going to be, P.S., I'm going to be running that trial again for the anniversary of his conviction just after Karen Reed finishes, because Karen Reed's obviously going to be on everyone's mind for a while.
Right.
But the anniversary is in May. So, yeah, and his appeal's coming up. Poor guy, his whole family, his children are growing up without a dad. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So
The legal
anyway,
system's kind of screwed up.
it
They
is.
need,
It is.
they need
And,
work.
this is the thing. I mean, that's in Wisconsin. We've got Richard Allen over in Indiana, and Bryan Kohberger's next. It's as simple as that. And I just feel that what we've got is prosecutor trying to make a square peg fit into a round hole. And they've got somebody. They had some DNA supposedly, which they backwards matched to a person, and then they backwards matched a bunch of evidence to fit the person. And now they're going to go and tell this story to a jury in a really dramatic way. You just wait. You just wait and hear their opening statement. It's going to be so dramatic. It's going to be about this man who didn't fit in the world, and how he was so angry, and how he went and learned about crime at university, and then he planned it, and he went and looked online, and he then, in a frenzy, he went and stabbed up all these people, and then
Have
he
you read
accident
that paper that he like threw away or something? I don't even know
that
if it's two different
that
things, but
paper.
he there's like one of his homework assignments in there talking about like surveillance and stuff. So like he's very good with surveillance, like he clearly knows about it, but he drove his own car to the crime scene where there's obviously going to be surveillance. Like,
I know that. Okay, so this whole perfect crime thing is such bullshit, right?
well,
Like,
we
okay,
can't say that. We can only say that in reference to Bryan, right? Because
of
let's say
course.
Bryan didn't do it, and the person that did do it did try to commit the perfect crime, and they get away with it. Like, clearly, they did a pretty good job.
Unbelievable. Like, okay, so a criminology major goes and drives his own car to a crime scene, does laps around the neighborhood, brings his own phone as well. Oh, turns it off
Turns it
because,
off an hour beforehand, but turns it back on 28
and
minutes
then turns it
after.
back on, and turns it back on later to go back and visit the crime scene as well, right? And also buys the murder weapon on Amazon.
And the balaclava. Where's
Yeah, all that.
his black outfit though? We don't know about that.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
funny thing about the balaclava is too, right? Like in during COVID, I went snowboarding, and in order to snowboard, I had to have a mask. So I bought balaclavas. He lives in
Oh,
Pennsylvania where it's cold in the winter. He's an avid runner. Like maybe he bought one just so he could go run.
maybe guilty.
No, probably
Guilty.
not.
Hey, also, yeah, woman, you're bringing up a good point. How are you, mate? So there is also a motion in limine to exclude third-party culprits and evidence of third-party culprits, and that's kind of concerning, very concerning,
But see, that's what I don't
especially.
understand why anybody thinks the state has a good case. They're trying to stop him from defending himself, and it's quite obvious. If they had him dead to rights, they wouldn't have to play these games.
You would think, but I mean, okay, so the state's case hinges entirely, really, on the knife sheath and this DNA. And it's very clear what they're trying to do is stop the defense from talking about the other DNA profiles in the house.
Right.
And they should absolutely be allowed to bring in the other DNA profiles in the house. I mean, if the door is not wide open to talking about the other DNA profiles in the house, what else can they talk about? Really?
Yeah.
I mean, that is just ridiculous.
No, everything about it's crazy. Hopefully the
It is.
judge makes the right call on that.
Okay, so that's the next point. So I've been pretty disappointed with a lot of the judge's rulings. I gave him the benefit of the doubt to start off with, but he really doesn't seem to understand much about this the facts of the case, I guess. He 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 does this thing where he makes it look like he's being even-handed, but he's really not. He's he doesn't want to do anything that's going to set any precedents, make any changes to case law, and he wants to make sure that his bosses are happy. That's the Supreme Court and his electors. So, that being the case, I can't see him ruling on the side of the defense much. And really, all of these motions in limine, he can't, surely he can't completely go on the state side on all of them, but we'll see.
What I've been told from a defense attorney friend is that most of the time suppression hearings go in the state favor and limines go in the defensive favor.
In what state?
She's in California.
Okay. Yeah. I've seen all sorts of things happen.
Yeah.
Hitler is biased. Let's watch him turn into Gull. Well, I mean, the difference between him and Gull is at least he gives reasons for his rulings. I have a feeling though that he has some legal assistant who writes a lot of his orders, because I don't think he spends all that time writing his orders. But yeah, I feel like he's made his mind up before he hears everything, generally.
I don't know. I mean, he said they've got probable cause for not a conviction, but I can never remember the word that he used. But he says we've got probable cause, enough to go on trial, but not convict him at this time. So we'll see. I don't think he's
DNA on the sheath is probable cause every day and twice on Sunday.
What it probably is. I don't think he's wrong there. Probable cause is like the lowest standard that could ever be possible on planet Earth, apparently. So, I mean, they probably do have probable cause.
Sure, they have probable cause. That's fine. It's the search warrants. There were a lot of problems with the search warrants, and he did ask questions of the state in regard to them, and the witnesses. They did get interrogated, but there wasn't. I mean, the fact that there weren't affidavits attached to the search warrants in many cases, that's not okay, right? So, and I'm seeing this happen in a few different cases now, but this one in particular, how can there not be affidavits attached to the applications for search warrant? Sorry, applications for the search warrant. There needs to be an affidavit, right? So I just feel like corners are being cut, and it doesn't really matter in the end. Like, you get to this stage and judge just goes, oh well, It's actually it's not even just that. It's the magistrate as well. So
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
mean, there's lots of
they
problems with that. Clearly,
there's
they
lots of
were
problems.
lying, and they're okay with it, at least in regards to the Franks. But the thing that people don't seem to understand about Franks is you have to remove probable cause in order to get a Franks. If the
Yep,
DNA is automatically probable cause, you're never going to get a Franks if there's DNA.
yep, yep.
But that also means that they've got probable cause to go after everyone else that had DNA there. So they should probably do that too.
Well, there's that, right? There's that. So why were those other people not investigated? Why were those lines of inquiry not completed? And that's a really good question, but it doesn't matter now, does it? It's too late.
Yeah.
It's too late.
The
All
state
right.
screwed up a lot of stuff on this.
I'm probably going to wrap up unless anyone's got any more questions for Twiz. This has been so cool, Twiz. Thank you for coming on.
Absolutely.
That's really cool. And you're doing great work out there. You're so much more patient than me. With the people. I'll call them people because I'm nice. The trolls.
The trick is you got to let them play their cards and make themselves look stupid. Like, go watch
They
me
look
when I
stupid.
was on Daniel's panel. I let him talk. If I'm stupid, then just let me talk and make a fool out of myself.
Yeah.
You don't have to talk over people and mute them if you're not scared of what they say.
Man, I just like I get to a point where I'm like, I've spoken to you enough and you're still just like calling me names and shit, and I don't have the energy for that. Like I've got a child and I've got people in my real life who give me shit, so yeah, I couldn't be
I
bothered.
feel it.
There was probably when I first started streaming, I got used to the block button. So I love it. The block button's great. I wish that Twitter had the proper block button. Like it's kind of crap that the proper block button doesn't really exist anymore. But anyway, yeah. Cool. All right. Thank you everybody for hanging out, guys. Who is streaming later? We got R&M. Are you streaming again later? It was so good to see you streaming last night. So good to see you last night, mate.
Let's look forward to those April 9th and 10th hearings and hearing more about
Oh yeah,
timing data.
we will. So that's a week away. Is that a full day? It will be two
It's
full
like a
days
week and
probably.
a half away or something.
Yeah, but they're doing 2 full days again.
That's what is on schedule, I guess.
Yeah.
It's like 1 full day and then a second day if needed, but everyone's saying with the amount of motion and limines there are, it'll be 2 days.
You're always invited, woman. Silent G, who are these people? Oh, Crime Stream's on tonight. Yes, Thursday is Crime Stream. Sorry, I forget that it's Thursday because it's Friday here. Everyone head over and see Potentially Criminal Sean at 9:30. Definitely. Is he even set up yet? Is he even set up yet for his Thursday night stream? Nope. Doesn't look like it. Nope. He's always late. And do a like too. Yes, make sure you hit the like, everybody. I am not rating Kurt. No, I'm never rating Kurt. That's never happening. That's just not happening. All right. If you guys want to go watch Kurt, go watch Kurt. But I'm not rating Kurt. It's not happening.
Poor Kurt.
Okay. Poor Kurt. All right. Bye, everybody. Time for the song. Time for the song.
Her name was Ella. She was an Aussie. She was a fake lawyer from the future. She got on YouTube and made some live streams. The co-host is Dolly and she dances sometimes. The words are always so loud and because she's an 803. To the center, excited young always allowed in because she's a needle free. Can it say